A real man can admit when he's wrong. And I feel like I've had a season of that in my life lately. And here goes yet another admission to failure. The PSA Jackal. I've ditched the Jackal. I'm officially no longer a Jackal fanboy. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it really boils down to two things. One is the weight. It's just too heavy. And I'm no schlub. I'm also not fucking John Rambo, okay? But when it comes to when you look up like government science and studies and stuff, really it boils down to lighter is better, lighter is more effective, you can move better, you can move farther, you're less fatigued, you have less brain fog. So I understand as a 36-year-old dad or whatever that I'm not going to perform like 25-year-old pissed off at the world Justin. I'm going to perform like fat, comfortable 36-year-old Justin. So again, I feel like when it comes to, here's a little story. My buddy came over not too long ago. He had a gun that I hadn't seen yet. An AR-15, a fancy AR-15. He didn't really have much on it. He had like a red dot, maybe a white light. But when I picked it up and shot it, it felt like I was holding a chopstick compared to my Jackal that feels like I'm holding a fucking 308 ACR, but it's not a 308, it's a 5.56. If it was a 308, I might consider it to be like a little bit more cumbersome because it's devastating. But it's not that devastating. It's a 5.56. However, it weighs like some fucking Stalingrad 1950 hunk of wood, okay? It's heavy. It's way too heavy. And it's not that it's heavy here. It's heavy here. Which means when I put my flashlight on it, if I, Lord forbid, I put an IR laser on it, all of that weight, the suppressor, when the suppressor's on this thing, it's just, I gotta constantly pick it up. Constantly pick it up. Sorry for the finger on the trigger. This is my safety. But yeah, I gotta constantly pick that shit up, you know? It's so heavy. So, really, I think as far as how heavy it is for the caliber, it's just like, you know, it's all bread, no meat, you know? It's all sauce, no bologna. So, that was my first real qualm. My second real qualm, and guys, when I'm talking about this gun, I'm not talking about like just, you know, my first week out of the box. I've had this thing since it first came out. I really wanted it. I was under the impression this was the poor man's ACR. This was like the go-to gun, and this was like the new it thing. And I feel like they just have a long way to go. They got to make it lighter. That's for sure. And then here's the big one. Here's the big one. It's unreliable. And again, I'm not just guessing off of 1 week of using this thing. I've had it long enough to paint this stupid Warhawk on it. You know, I had it all configured out the way I liked it. You know, the right length and tape. I mean, I've put, I don't know, 1,500 rounds through this gun since I've had it. I've ran a lot of drills with it. I've done hikes with it. You know, I put it through the ringer, man. I shot it in the snow, shot it in the dirt, the rain. But it jams. It fucking jams. And depending on what ammo you have, it might jam a lot. And there's nothing more frustrating when you're on the range than when every third or fifth trigger pull you have to clear a jam, which tells me that I would not take this to defend my life or my family's life with it, because it jams. And I don't trust things that don't work, especially with my life or my family's life. So, 2 big problems, PSA Jackal. 1, it's too heavy. 2, it jams a lot, more than I would want it to jam. And caveat, I will say, it only jams with a suppressor. I don't think it's ever jammed without a suppressor. Without a suppressor, this thing runs, man. It's loud, it barks, it's smooth, it's flat because it's so heavy. It's real flat out front. But again, I'm not, once you buy a suppressor, once you go suppressor, you don't go back, you know? Now when I shoot guns, shoot rifles at least, I typically have a suppressor on them. They're legal. You can own them. So I do. So, that being said, I had a lot of stock in this gun. I thought this thing was amazing. When I started running it with a suppressor, I realized it's too heavy. It's too front heavy, and it jams. That being said, if you don't believe in suppressors, if you don't ever think you can own a suppressor or afford a suppressor or whatever, this might be the gun for you. Why? Because it's not horribly heavy without a suppressor. It's not horribly heavy without a suppressor. And it doesn't jam without a suppressor. Again, I don't think I've ever had a jam out of 1,500 rounds without a suppressor. With a suppressor, different story. So, that being said, I'll show you what I do usually use, what I do trust with my life. I have 2 guns, really. One is like my wife's designated rifle. When she decides to shoot, she has a rifle that she knows because she shoots it a lot and she's comfortable with it. And then I have a rifle that I like, and it's like the more skinny version, faster, high-speed version of the one my wife runs. But essentially, I have 2 different rifles. I have like a designated marksman kind of rifle, something that you could take more precise shots from a further distance, but you could still also use it in a high-speed situation. You know, I would hate to ever say assaulting, because Lord knows I'm not a fucking assaulter, but like a breaking contact, like we're too fucking close, let's get out of there. I feel like I'm comfortable with that. And so, yeah, we have 2 different rifles in this house that we really use and trust, and that is like a designated marksman, kind of, and then like an assaulter, kind of. But just 2 rifles that have like general roles. I'll just show them to you real fast. I'm not going to take up too much time. The video is about why I ditched the Jackal, but I'll show you what I went back to. What I went back to is this. This is very skinny. It's very light. It's a F&N upper, F&N barrel. I don't know who the fuck makes this rail. Could be an airsoft rail for all I know. I don't know. But it's locked on there tight. It's got a good lockup system. That's what's important. So it's on there tight. I'm running a white light and a can. No laser on here yet. Got that tridge with a piggyback tridge. But yeah, little zipper on there. Holds things. Earplugs. Shit like that. Got a pair of cuff keys in there. But yeah, you hold this gun versus the Jackal, night and day. Night and day. This thing weighs so much less. And if you're not shooting a 308, you don't have to hold up this massive chunk of heavy shit, because it's not a 308. This is a 5.56 rifle. It's meant to be fast. It's meant to shoot fast and be light. And that's what this does. It's light, and I can barely notice it when I'm coming from the low ready or the high ready. It's so light and so precise that when I go to pick up the Jackal, it's like frustrating how heavy it is. So that's like my little assaulter version. I'll show you my wife's. this is, again, it's got a little bit different of a situation where it's got the LPVO, so you can zoom in at a little distance, you can zoom out. It's still got a can on the front. I think it's a 14 5-inch barrel, I think. The bipod comes on and off. We don't always have it on there. It's just on there because I was taking some longer shots in the backyard yesterday. But yeah, again, this gun with its red dot and its LPVO and its white light pick is so much lighter than that gun. This gun with all this shit on it is almost as the same weight as this gun with nothing on it. And again, it's a 5.56, so why would I hold up a massive heavy thing if I'm not shooting a 308? So there you have it. I think you guys should just stick with your AR-15s. They don't have to be all kitted out and shit. Chances are you're not, green-eyed googly boogeyman anyway. So just stick with your white light and whatever scope, your red dot, whatever optic you like. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where tried and true, you stick to what you know. And I tried something new, and I tried it. I really gave it my best effort. I put a lot of rounds through it. I did a lot of training with it. And it just turns out that I'm going to have to say sayonara. So if anyone's in the market for a PSA with a custom painted Warhawk on the front, reach out to me. God bless.